retirements over the past 12 or 15 months. To see how the new team is likely to shape up, though, we can take a look at the start of the Olympic build-up as we bring you today and tomorrow live coverage of the Bicentennial Hockey Classic being played in Sydney. Gordon Bray joins us for live second-half coverage of the traditional grudge match between hockey hothouses, Western Australia and Victoria.
Thank you very much, Charles, and welcome to sunny Sydney for this Bicentennial Interstate Challenge between Western Australia and Victoria. Yes, it's a lovely day here in Sydney, and with me is the Australian coach Richard Agus, who'll be providing the expert commentary in the second half. Well, we've seen a very good first half so far, with Victoria leading by 2-1, Richard.
Yes, very fiery first half. In fact, a couple of yellow cards and warnings being given, and the young Greg Corbett from Western Australia playing a very important role, and he got himself into a little strife there, a little mix-up. But yes, has been very interesting and some very good goals.
Let's have a look at the two teams. Firstly, Western Australia, and Rick Charlesworth has been on the national front since 1971 with WA. Peter Hazelhurst in 75. They've been midfielders in the Australian forward lineup for 8 or 9 years. But it's an inexperienced halfback line with the retirement of David Bell, Grant Boyce, and the unavailability of Michael Nobbs. The Victorian team, Colin Batch is now the Australian vice-captain. He plays in the same position as Charlesworth and Hazelhurst. An absorbing battle, this one so far. The Victorian team has been playing together for some years. Neil Snowden is the Australian goalkeeper. He's been there since 1980. And David Wansborough is a key player in the Australian lineup. So we're just about to see the start of this second half, and repeating that Victoria has the lead by 2-1. So here we go, the two umpires in this game, Craig Beecher from Goulburn and Ian Heffernan from Illawarra. And it's WA in the dark uniforms, and Victoria converting 2 penalty corners in the first half to Western Australia's 1. So Western Australia, a very important game for them, Richard.
Very important after their loss to Queensland last night. A game they deserve to lose, but here's a chance for them.
Grant Mitten up in the circle and across the face of goal, and Colin Batch number 1 on the far side.
Yes, great advantage played by umpire Heffernan then, but the chance went begging. Jay Stacey has come onto the field for Victoria, didn't play in the first half, so that's an interesting move, and Robbie Clark is sitting on the interchange bench.
This is a round-robin tournament between the top 4 sides in Australia: Victoria, WA, New South Wales and Queensland. Now, last night Queensland beat Western Australia in an upset by 3-1. And back in the last line for Western Australia is Dean Evans, the left half.
The ball went over the baseline, obviously, because it's now a long corner, and Tim Reid will take the hit in.
Victoria looking for another goal here. Stephen. It's solid Western Australian defence. Charlesworth, number 6. You can't miss him. Hannaford and Charlesworth. In the way was Stephen, and the free hit to WA. Yes, last night Queensland beat Western Australia by 3-1, and Victoria beat New South Wales 3-0.
Well-deserved results too, I might add, because there was very exciting hockey, and the two teams that won played much better than their opponents.
Peter Hazelhurst with that flick. Big chase, but not successful. Yes, today's games, WA and Victoria. Tonight, New South Wales plays Queensland, and tomorrow, Queensland opposed to Victoria. And the game will be televising tomorrow, New South Wales and Western Australia, another crucial affair.
Certainly will be very interesting if Western Australia were able to get up and win this game, and then, of course, if New South Wales beat Victoria, we could have a grand final on our hands tomorrow.
Yes, and with this synthetic surface now, apparently there are 22 or 23 of these surfaces around the country. International hockey has become a very exciting affair, a very fast-moving game, and the action breathtaking at times.
And of course, with the new 25-yard offside rule, it lends for itself to a very fast-moving game from one end to the other. I'm just looking at the absorbing duel that's going on between Jay Stacey and Rick Charlesworth, both very strong players. It's Dean Evans, who's played well in this game, clears the ball out of defence. There's been no love lost, Gordon.
No, it's been a very fiery encounter. Hazelhurst and Charlesworth have both had green cards. Wansborough for Victoria also. And the two umpires, Messrs Beecher from Goulburn and Heffernan from Illawarra, have really been struggling to maintain control against some very experienced campaigners.
Yes, there's certainly been no lack of talking, most of it to the umpires.
It's a shore for Victoria. Dalton, number 3, up towards the circle. Hannaford in the way.
He's free hit just outside the circle for an obstruction. Another dangerous situation.
Stacey, number 10, off the foot. Let off there for WA. And Richard, in your capacity as Australian and Olympic coach, it's a very big year for the Australian team, chasing that elusive gold medal. Yes. These matches very important in the build-up.
They certainly are, Gordon, and winning that elusive gold medal is not getting any easier either, because there's more and more good players emerging on the international scene with all these synthetic surfaces, and the supergrass field here today is certainly lending itself to some top hockey. But as you say, there's a lot of players in this game and the later game who are going to be vying for places in the Olympic team.
Hazelhurst with a good through ball. College not controlling. Now it's Bott. I think it goes to Davies. Western Australia just controlling things at the back. John Bestall, Australian Olympian at Los Angeles in '84. Sekulic dispossessed. Bestall comes through though. Strong tackle by Poppenbeek.
Yes, everybody thought the whistle was going to go, but he's called play on.
Stephen looking for Colin Batch, captain of this Victorian side, just short of halfway. Davies in the way, his rival skipper. Batch still in control, but now it's Charlesworth and Hazelhurst. Fluctuating match so far. Victoria leading by 2-1. Pace has been fast and furious.
Very interesting in this tournament that each team has brought a very young player to the tournament. Western Australia brought young Greg Corbett. Tim Reid for Victoria, number 14, you can see there in the picture, is only 18 years of age, and he will be coming to the Institute next week. So it's very interesting that they've brought some of their very young players, Gordon, and very good for the future.
Yes, well, in the first half we saw a 16-year-old schoolboy, Greg Corbett, on for Western Australia, and he certainly gave no quarter.
He certainly did not. In fact, he created a couple of good opportunities, but also was involved in a bit of a scuffle and cut his ear, but I think he's all right. Didn't seem to be worrying him too much.
Yes, well, I suppose the senior players feel these schoolboys need a clip around the ear.
Well, unfortunately, when you walk onto an arena with so many international players, age doesn't mean anything, and there's very little tolerance for people who don't measure up, and it's a hard baptism of fire for him.
Wansborough with a good pass through to Batch. So Victoria mounting further pressure here. Stacey. Batch again.
It's a good tackle by Brian Zeklich. Brian Zeklich has played very well here. I thought he played quite well last night, and he was the best of the West Australian half line.
Now there's a great chance here for Shaw.
Very, very good opportunist, young David Shaw, but unfortunately on that occasion it was wide, but it was an excellent opportunity.
Hazelhurst on the counter. WA looking for a quick breakout, but Stephen getting in the way.
Yes, a bit of pushing and shoving there. I'm not sure who was doing the pushing and the shoving, but Victoria ended up with the free hit, and they're going into attack.
Grant Mitten coming in to help Hazelhurst. Sekulic. And some robust defence. Overzealous, says the umpire. Hazelhurst plays on quickly. Up towards the circle now. Poppenbeek in the way. Now it's College.
Bott.
Back to Bott, just outside the circle. And Colin Batch relieving things for Victoria.
I thought Greg Reid for Victoria has played particularly well. He's played very well last night, played very well. Here he is again. He played some very clever moves with Colin Batch. Been very dependable in deep defence.
Greg Reid on the far side for Victoria. Just passing to his skipper, Batch. Back to Reid. There's the cross.
Which it was in the air. The umpire's very particular. The ball must be on the ground in that situation, and quite rightly so, because it can be very dangerous.
Well, that was a loose pass back to Davies, and he makes no mistake. Poppenbeek, he scored both goals for Victoria. Fairbrother gets the ball back over the 25-yard line. Hockey hasn't gone metric. We still talk in yards. This is Hazelhurst.
Yes, mainly because a lot of the rules are made in England, and they're still obviously yards and feet and so on. With so many countries around the world playing the game now, I think it's easy to stay with what we've got.
And who looked like being the teams to fight out for Olympic gold this year, the main contenders, Richard?
Well, Gordon, I think Germany and Great Britain, Holland and probably Pakistan would be the 5 chances for the gold medal, I would think, and hopefully we're going to be in amongst them, but there's a long way to go and a lot of work to be done. That's good play.
College, free hit going against him, not controlling it.
Rolling ball, and the umpires are becoming quite pedantic about it, and quite rightly so, because internationally they're blowing it now. I notice there's been another substitution or interchange for Victoria. Craig Fairbrother has come on to play right fullback in place of Ross Harper.
Hannaford to Charlesworth over the 25-yard line. Charlesworth still working his way back towards top form.
Yes, he's trained very hard in the off-season. We've been running 8 and 10 kilometres quite regularly during the week. It's just a matter of now getting the touch back, and all the players are suffering that sort of early season form.
Here's Zekulic just outside the circle. Bats putting a hand on that one.
Yes, but nobody could see it, and so it's play on. Umpires had no hope of seeing that, but I think Colin Batch was very lucky then.
Yes, just looking at this new offside rule applying to the 25-yard line rather than halfway now, what effect is that having?
Well, it allows the game to be played much more direct, and for forwards to get in a situation where they can get behind the defence, and so they can play really 75 yards of the field and be onside irrespective of where the ball is.
Good advantage by the umpire.
Yes, it was actually, and his good play by John Hannaford.
In the centre is number 7 College, but Western Australia just outside the circle. Hazelhurst almost deflecting.
Yes, deliberately over the back line by Snowden, but the umpire didn't blow it. That would certainly be a penalty corner in international hockey. Very lucky for Neil Snowden then.
Snowden cleared it.
Yes, penalty corner now off the foot.
And a chance here for Western Australia to level the scores. They trail by 2 goals to 1, and all goals coming from short corners so far.
Yes, John Bestel scored a beautiful goal for Western Australia after Poppenbeek had scored for Victoria. Bestel's elected to flick the ball and caught Neil Snowden completely by surprise, but since then nothing definite.
So it's Jeff Bott. Bestel shaping for the hit. There it goes.
Deflected. The push out was far too slow and allowed the player running out to get very, very close, and you'll definitely see that. It's a very slow push out by Jeff Bott. In fact, not a very good technique. And as you can see, the player gets very close before the hit is taken.
And the stick of Shaw getting in the way.
Yes. This is always an awkward situation. The circle is so congested. There's a fair amount of luck in this.
Oh, almost coming through there. The reaction not quite from College. Must have gone past 7 or 8 players.
It's more good luck than the good judgment in a lot of these situations.
Victoria in the lead. Western Australia struggling to get back on terms. They've met very stern resistance. This is Charlesworth. Mitten going through.
Just going back to the 25-yard offside rule, Gordon, one of the biggest problems is that in the southern hemisphere we've got a very short amount of time to prepare for the Olympics. The teams in the northern hemisphere have been playing with this rule since July last year. We've just started it this year, so it makes it a disadvantage in terms of the Olympic Games. But I'm sure the calibre of player that will make the Olympic team will be able to adjust to it.
Yes, well, I suppose also having lost a man like Terry Walsh, who's now the WA coach, such a creative player in front of goal, a prolific goal scorer, that must be a very big gap for you to try and fill.
Yes, although Mark Hager, who's his likely replacement, scored 2 very good goals for Queensland last night, and he's improving with confidence, and he's looking very, very fit, which I'm very pleased about. And I only hope that he can fill those shoes. One of the things about Terry was he was always capable of scoring in the very big games, and that's something that Mark Hager still has to achieve, and that usually comes with experience.
Yes, well, opportunities in front of goal in those big games so crucial. I can remember Australia having a couple of chances to score against Pakistan at Los Angeles, They weren't taken, and that's the ball game, isn't it?
That's right. You've got to take those opportunities. Hockey's such a low-scoring game usually, although the 25-yard offside rule hopefully will change that to some extent.
Sekulic back to Hoppenbeek. Good shot, it's in!
There's a goal.
Oh, lovely goal there for Western Australia, Grant Mitten.
That was an interesting. From here, I thought initially that Chris Taylor had hit that ball on his foot. As we watch it closely, no, he didn't, and he's made a nice pass, and Grant Mitten, trying to force his way back into the Australian teams, hammers it home, and it's 2-2 with 21 minutes remaining in the second half.
Yes, well, Grant Mitten retired after the World Cup triumph, which was a great fillip for Australian hockey, but it looks as though he's finding his feet pretty rapidly.
Yes, he decided, he actually rang me on New Year's Day, which was a nice New Year's resolution for me, to tell me that he wanted to make a comeback, but now all the work's in front of him. He's the player, he's the one who has to do it, and he has to show the selector that he's capable, and this is the first step on the road back. And as you know, in sporting teams, it's sometimes harder to get back in than it is to get out.
So it's deadlocked here at 2-2. Victoria taking the lead, Western Australia replying, and then Hoppenbeek with his second goal made it 2-1. And now we've seen a good field goal to Grant Mitten to level up at 2-2. And just over 20 minutes remaining in the game.
Wansborough.
He's been an elusive player for Victoria.
I've also been very pleased with the form of Dean Evans in this game. He's had a lot of knee trouble in the last year and a bit, and I think he's going to be very happy with himself at the end of this weekend, providing he can keep this good form going.
Neil Snowden clears.
Another good tackle. There's a chance for Batch.
And it's Hymas in goal for WA.
Yes, Steve Purcell has come on. I'm just looking to see who's gone off. I suspect it's young Tim Reid. Yes, Tim Reid is for Victoria. Number 5 has come on, yes.
So Greg Reid getting that ball into the circle. Charlesworth now. And Stephen. Free hit Victoria on the 25-yard line. Score is 2-2. Victoria in white. Charlesworth trapping well.
Chris Taylor making making his debut for Western Australia in actual fact in this tournament. So it's a very big step because he was unavailable for the under-21 championships last year. So he's gone a couple of years without top hockey, and to come in at this level is quite a good effort.
John Bestel.
He will also be coming into the AOS program as from Monday in Perth, and he looks very promising, but obviously a lot of work to be done on his game as yet.
Wansborough straight through, beating everyone. Yes, well, we talked of the synthetic surface being prominent now around the country, and a lot of country areas are boasting this particular type of surface now.
Yes, that's right. The first one was a supergrass field put down in Tamworth. In fact, last night Tamworth were awarded a special award for their efforts and the service that they've done to hockey in that particular town. They were the trendsetters. Since then, there's been surfaces put down, well, in New South Wales, in places like Bathurst, Moorebank, Liverpool. In Western Australia, there's been one put down in Geraldton, and in South Australia, in Woodville, and places like that. So, inner city grounds of municipalities have put them down, and also some of the country towns.
Hazelhurst now over the 25-yard line. Clever play. College. That spot.
Oh, very clever play. Yes, penalty corner there. Yes, very clever play by Jeff Bott. Very, very good skills. He's been a player that's always possessed a lot of close-in skills, but never had an opportunity to really express himself because of the strong Western Australian team. He's often missed selection. And he's just about to push this ball out, and it'll be very interesting to see whether they decide to use the variation involving Charlesworth, which was successful last night. Bad stick stop. Here's a chance for a counter-attack with Stacey.
Over halfway.
Yes, Purcell.
And there's a good example there of the old offside law,
yes,
not applying.
Yes, in the old days he would have been offside by 30 yards, but here he was standing up there all on his lonesome, and if the ball had it fallen favourably for him, he could have been in having a shot at goal. So I think it's very important that Western Australia and Victoria and all of the rest of Australia work very hard on establishing how to play this 25-yard off rule. 25-yard offside rule, I should say.
David Poppenbeek, been a tower of strength for Victoria this afternoon. It's Purcell coming in for the tackle. Sekalic to Hazelhurst, 25-yard line, 2-all the score. Some obstruction by WA. Purcell. Evans. So just 16 minutes of play remaining and the score locked at 2-all. Colin back to the Victorian captain, finding Stacey. Charlesworth the tackler, assisted by Hannaford. Stacey still going. That was Shaw.
Too strong in defence, Western Australia, on that occasion. Some very good play by John Bestel and John Hannaford.
Bestel now. Hannaford. Taylor number 12. 2 is Stephen.
Oh, nice pass. Unfortunately, just couldn't get hold of it as the ball rolled loose in the circle. Purcell. Well, that was interesting because I thought that, yes, it did deflect. Oh, no, I thought the umpire pointed for a deflection over the goal line, but obviously didn't deflect. Purcell is a very, very fast young forward and very, very dangerous in that situation.
So a very entertaining match so far. The score still at 2-all, and Western Australia, Richard, showing signs of coming back into proceedings.
Yes, a little bit of the control's gone out of the West Australian, out of the Victorian game. Ross Harper has come into the middle of the field because David Wansborough, I don't know whether he got tired or just fell out of the game, but Ross Harper's now at centre halfback. I think they're trying to get control of the game again, but people like Evans and that are trying to get back in control of the game, but it's a bit scrappy at the moment.
So Keith Stephen going off for Victoria and Ross Harper coming on. It's Jeff Bott on the far side. Victoria now going forward. Purcell, number 5, good cross. Almost a chance there for Dalton. Western Australia desperate in defence. Taylor.
Good skills by the young boy.
Good advantage played by the umpire. Charlesworth. Showing all his wizardry and picking up the free hit. Western Australia certainly finishing strongly now. Just under 14 minutes to go.
Wansborough to batch, and here's a chance.
Over halfway.
Here's Purcell, he's big trouble now.
It has to be, well, Shaw had every chance there, the open goal, and pulled it wide.
And that was a prime example of the 25-yard line in action, where Craig Davies didn't have any idea where young Purcell was.
Mitten keeping the ball in play, Poppenbeek.
Yes, here's Purcell, and if you see Craig Davies in the background, you just can't pick him up. There's an opportunity to score then, but he just shot wide. His footwork wasn't good. Here's a chance. Good save by Greg Reid again. Played an excellent game for Victoria.
So you really haven't got time to blink.
You certainly have not, and if any of the defenders ball watching and just standing there admiring what's happening at the other end of the field, they're going to get caught out.
12.5 minutes remaining. Some stick obstruction. Appeared by Wansborough. Batch is in there. Charlesworth. 25-yard line. Charlesworth going a little too far that time.
Yes, I think the 25-yard offside is going to add a nice dimension to the game. It's certainly not going to hinder the game. There's very few disadvantages and there are a lot of advantages. As I see Western Australia making some substitutions. Greg Corbett's come on, and I think Ross Barron is also about to come on.
If you've just joined us on Sports Arena, this is a match between Western Australia and Victoria in the New South Wales Bicentennial Interstate Hockey Challenge at the State Hockey Centre in Homebush, Sydney's western suburbs. The match is 2-2 at the moment. Victoria led by 2-1 at half-time. Victoria playing in white, and this is their captain, Colin Batch, on the 25-yard line. It's been a very competitive match. Chance now for Shaw. He couldn't quite get the shot in. He was calling for a bit of stick obstruction, but not getting his verdict.
No, I think it was just play on then. There seemed to be a bit of both teams in it, and it was just a matter of play on. Yes, John Hannaford has gone off, and young Ross Barron has come on at right half for Western Australia. And Jeff Bott has gone off for Western Australia, and Greg Corbett has come on. So because of the interchange rule, Greg Corbett is able to come back on after having already been on. Internationally, we don't play that, which I think is very unfortunate, because it adds something else to the game. Look at that strength.
So Western Australia through Taylor. Into the circle.
Yes, a penalty corner, yes. Very good play there, and you saw the tackle on Charlesworth, and you still have that experience and strength to break the tackle and then get the pass away, whereas a lot of lesser players would probably appealed for the free hit, and the game would have been stopped. With
So
10
now
minutes
it's
to
Corbett.
go, this is very important.
16-year-old Corbett. And bad work there by Evans. This is Bestel recovering. Back to Evans.
Yes, with the offside, when the penalty corner is on, there's a great opportunity for people to get caught offside, because they stand and watch what's happening at the top of the circle, and they suddenly find they're offside.
Mitten comes in. He certainly was tackled that time, but it's gone the other way.
Yes, he put a saddle on his back, and I think that was a reasonable decision.
Batch.
Here we go again.
Davies. Charlesworth, lovely trap.
Here's the counter-attack, Mitten.
Grant Mitten looking for his second.
Unbelievable piece of skill, and the umpire being very finicky on that occasion, I would have thought. Yes, we don't need that.
Technical interpretation.
Yes, that's what I was looking for.
Yes, well, Ian Heffernan comes from Illawarra. There are 43 senior men's teams down in Illawarra, and our other umpire, Craig Beecher from Goulburn. Something like 20 senior teams for men in Goulburn too. And you can double that when you add the women.
Another chance.
Well, one stick,
yes.
Airborne.
Craig Fairbrother putting his stamp on the game.
Giving his opponent some stick.
Yes. Lucky there was no fingers or thumbs in that.
Still, it's 2-2 between Victoria and Western Australia. This is a round robin of this Bicentennial Interstate Hockey Challenge. In the first round, Queensland 3 beat WA 1 and Victoria 3 beat New South Wales 0. Tonight here at the State Sports Centre, for those of you in Sydney, you can see New South Wales in action against Queensland. That should be an excellent encounter. And the final round robin match is tomorrow, Queensland and Victoria. And the game we'll be showing you on ABC television, New South Wales and WA. Tomorrow afternoon in Sports Arena.
Yes, I think the New South Wales team would be looking for a victory tonight, and if that was to happen, then and this game ended up a draw or Western Australia got up to win, tomorrow's games will be very important.
Ross Barron over halfway. Charlesworth. Very aggressive, very strong, Rick Charlesworth. Still on the ball. So much energy.
Yes, it's got nothing to do with age, it's a lot to do with desire and effort and fitness.
Poppenbeek. And harmlessly over the back line.
Bit of foot in that.
Sekulic now. Davey says, I'll take it. And that one's beaten everyone.
Yes, in between this game and the game at 8 o'clock, the New South Wales Supergrass Academy squad will be playing the United States under-19 team that are here, and that team is the United States team is coached by Australian Rick Purser, and he's got a big job in front of him with the United States, building United States hockey. So that would be an interesting game, and then the other game will be at 8 o'clock, as Gordon said. So a lot of good hockey still to go here this afternoon.
Poppenbeek across to Fairbrother. Victoria getting a bit ambitious now, but I suppose the draw is quite satisfactory for them after their good win last night against New South Wales.
Yes.
Western Australia desperate for victory here to stay in contention.
Of course, the other point too is these teams haven't had 24 hours rest since the last game, so they're probably a little bit tired, and they haven't had a lot of hockey in the lead up to this. A lot of the Australian players, or all the Australian players, have worked very hard on their fitness, but fitness is so specific to each particular sport that without doing actually hockey skills, you can certainly get very tired.
Yes, I believe you've been concentrating on a lot of weight training in the off-season.
Yes, well, I think that one of the things we have to do is to make sure that a lot of the younger guys got themselves much stronger and much fitter, and because from my experience at the Olympic Games, there's no holds barred, and strength is going to be very important. Here's a chance.
This is Grant Mitten up towards the circle. He's almost there.
Yes. It's unfortunate for Poppenbeek. It was a real contest between the two of them, and it was quite a nice clean tackle in the end, but unfortunately he came over the top of the stick inside the circle, and that's a breach. So we've got another penalty corner.
So the push in now from Greg Corbett, just out to the right. A 16-year-old schoolboy from Kent Street High School in Perth. It's been a baptism of fire for him. Bestall sets himself. Here he goes. Variation. Mitten. And that was a fine save.
Yes, Neil Snowden had seen that one before and was well prepared for it. Covered it very well, though.
So Western Australia being thwarted by this tenacious Victorian defence. Less than 5 minutes to go. And Snowden again, showing his soccer skills.
Yes, looks like he needs a bit of work on his left foot, though.
That one definitely came off the side. Charlesworth, a little flick on. Mitten's there again.
Yes. Yes, wasn't good play by David Poppenbeek in that position. In that position, he needs to alter his body play on Mitten to make sure that Mitten couldn't get the ball first. So another penalty corner, and Craig Davies coming up again, so there might be a variation here.
Can this put Western Australia in the lead? And only 5 people now allowed behind the back line.
That's
for
correct.
The short corner. It was formerly 6.
Designed to give the attacking team more advantage.
Variation,
Yes,
and it's in. Peter Hazelhurst has done it. Western Australia has hit the lead with only 4 minutes of play remaining.
Well, while their variation was worked quite well in the end, and that's all that matters, as you'll see here, it wasn't as smooth as, and Peter Hazelhurst didn't flick it probably as well as he would have liked, but it was high enough, and the results on the board.
So Western Australia has been threatening to take the lead in their second half, and they've finally done it. And now time really running out for the Victorians. They have had the situation comfortably in their keeping, but Western Australia coming back with 2 good goals in the second half to snatch the lead. And now they'll have to really throw everything into attack, Victoria.
Yes, I'm a bit surprised that David Wansborough, who was the absolute star of the game last night, has been languishing at right half for a while, and while right half is one of his, is probably his best position, he hasn't been in the play enough for a player with his skills.
So there's Clark for Victoria. Could this be a leveller? Not quite. Davies in the way, the Australian captain. It's Ross Barron.
Yes, lifted up into his leg.
Reid. So Victoria fighting hard here, sure. Cleared by Charlesworth, straight into his teammate's foot, John Bestall. Free hit just outside the circle.
So congested in that circle, there's a fair amount of luck needed, and if the ball is probably more than 1 centimetre off the ground, it's going to be blown by the umpire because it becomes quite dangerous.
Full-blooded shot into the side of the net. Purcell not quite there with his line. Western Australia still leading by 3 goals to 2. We have just over 2 minutes of play remaining. This is the Bicentennial Interstate Hockey Challenge coming to you from the Homebush State Hockey Centre in Sydney. And the champion Western Australian team really finding their fluent form in the second half. scoring 2 goals and leading Victoria by 1. John Bestall. Poppenbeek. Batch. Desperation stakes now for Victoria.
Yes, there was this tangle of arms and legs there, and the free hit had been given outside the circle. Very dangerous situation for Western Australia. But because it's within 5 yards of the top of the circle, everybody has to be 5 yards away.
Charlesworth. And no one back there for WA. Fairbrother. Less than 1.5 minutes remaining. Victoria trailing by a goal. Can they pull it out? Robert Clark.
No, it's over the back line. There was no room to manoeuvre there, and he certainly went the wrong way.
It's Clark again. Davies in the way. Gets around Batch and gets the free hit. Peter Hazelhurst. No, that's the youngster, Greg Corbett, showing good skills.
Yes, I think, in fact, if you see that on the replay, you'll see that Neil Snowden actually blocked the ball outside the circle. And even though he got the ball, you'd probably see just here, yes, he's outside the circle, that's a penalty corner. So it was a very good decision by Ian Heffernan, the umpire. And now that Neil Snowden has have to readjust his gear, we've got time off with 27 seconds to go. Probably an appropriate time to mention that in this bicentennial year, on about the 8th of March, is going to be the launching of a new book called Hockey's Grand Slam, which is to do with the Olympic Games, World Cup, Champions Trophy and so on. And that book's going to be available probably from each state association, and it's probably the best book that's ever been produced on hockey in Australia.
Bestall. Mitten not controlling. Western Australia losing concentration. Yes, well, that'll be a must for all hockey followers and even people who haven't taken a keen interest in the sport.
Well, it's going to be the sort of the cricket's equivalent to Wisden, and there's a great deal of research gone into it, and it's going to be available in March. And I'm very pleased to say that Sander have agreed to sponsor it, so that's also a plus for hockey.
Well, there's the hooter for full time, and Western Australia has done it here against Victoria by 3 goals to 2 in an exhilarating display in that second half. Victoria certainly far from disgrace. They led 2-1 at half-time, but Western Australia really showed their class and experience in that second term, Richard.
Yes, it's a very, very tight and hard-fought game. I think that Western Australia, in the end, probably deserved to win, but I think that full credit to Victoria. Now, the victory by Western Australia throws it open tomorrow, and particularly if New South Wales can win the late game tonight, and I would hope there's going to be a very big crowd here to see that.
Yes, well, it's rather chilly here at Homebush in Sydney. We probably do need jumpers, but you're going over to Lahore for the Champions Trophy with the Australian team, and when's that, Richard?
Well, we'll be assembling in Perth on the 19th of March for 4 days together, which in fact will also coincide with David Bell's testimonial weekend, so it should be a great weekend of hockey in Perth. We'll be leaving on the 22nd to go to Pakistan, and I haven't been to Lahore. I've been to Karachi 5 or 6 times, so I'm quite looking forward to that. But more importantly, I'm looking forward to see how the other teams are coping with the new 25-yard offside and how our players go, because it's been a long time since we've played together.
Yes, there's a lot of scope with that new rule, because it's going to open things up, and perhaps the midfield will be less congested.
Yes, but I think we've still got the players who can handle that very well. It's just a matter of us making minor modifications to the way Australia's played. There's no question of our fitness and our speed, but it's a matter of getting the players back in the same sort of form that we've had in the World Cup in 1986. A lot of work to be done, and hopefully we can do that.
Okay, we're getting a nice spray from the sprinklers at the moment. They're coming in just to keep us refreshed, but that really opens things up with Western Australia beating Victoria. So join us tomorrow for the match between WA and New South Wales. It should be a beauty. More action in Sports Arena from the State Hockey Centre tomorrow, and for the time being then, it's back to Charles Slade in the Sports Arena studio in Melbourne.
Thank you, Gordon Bray and Richard Agus, and incidentally,